What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. 2 years ago today, I posted this photo on our Instagram page of a random, mysterious coaster located in the middle of nowhere. The post spread like wildfire and has since racked up over 13,000 views. Now, as you can imagine, I got a lot of questions regarding the coaster, but I found myself unable to answer most of them after I found virtually no information online. To my surprise, I also found that a lot of people had been posting and reposting this thing for years with all the same questions, but again, no one knew anything. So, I took it into my own hands and did quite a bit of research on this bizarre, one-time built coaster, and what I found was quite interesting. With cars that ran between the rails rather than on top, below, or beside, this concept involved a new type of inversion, a compact layout, and most importantly, a low budget cost. But what happened to this model, and why was only one ever built? This is the story of the Intamin prototype spiral coaster. In the early 1990s, roller coaster manufacturer Aerodynamics sought to construct a pipeline coaster that would be their newest hit throughout the industry. As a result, at Aero's plant in Clearfield, Utah, a prototype was constructed to test and present the concept to the public. At first, it seemed like a good idea, and the coaster actually ran pretty good for the first couple of days. However, due to roughness and other technical difficulties presented throughout the design, the coaster's plans were canceled entirely. A couple years later, and the idea was once again brought up at headquarters to try again. As a result, theme park designer John Wardley took control of the project and attempted to build one at Alton Towers twice in the early 90s. The coaster Nemesis was designed as a second effort though, and the pipeline coaster was discarded. Furthermore, Wardley noted he didn't even like the prototype after writing it, and so plans were archived and the coaster scrapped. But this wasn't the last time the industry would see such a design. Though Aero failed at their attempt, Intamin saw it as an opportunity to capitalize on the concept and build one of their own. With an underground partnership from Aerodynamics and Gio Vinola, a similar track design was used to develop a new prototype that was released on both parties' official websites, and it wasn't long before theme parks began showing interest. Lotte Hotel Busan in South Korea was first to attempt and purchase the spiral coaster, where it operated from 1996 to 1999. It was known as the Comet and was housed in the Sky Plaza recreational complex of the hotel. Reaching a mere height of 20 feet, the coaster actually managed to pack in 4 inversions with a length of over 1,000 feet. And before we move on, you might be asking how that's even possible given the height. Well, interestingly enough, the coaster, including the inversions, were driven by drive tires almost the entire way through. Known as diving turns, these inversions, only present on this type of coaster, consisted of a half inline twist, half corkscrew, and the other 2 inversions were heartline rolls. That being said, unfortunately, the coaster didn't draw much attendance or hype, and Sky Plaza failed. In 1999, the structure was dismantled, and the roller coaster was acquired by Al Shaab Leisure Park in Kuwait. By the year 2000, the coaster was once again fully operational at its new park under the name Spiral Coaster, along with 2 other roller coasters. During this time, it began getting progressively rougher as the seasons rolled by, and by 2005, the ride closed for maintenance. Riders complained of head injuries, bruised ribs, and an overall horrible experience. In response to this, Leisure Park decided to try and fix the ride, but when proper funding wasn't obtained, announced its permanent closure. Well, a decade later in 2015, the coaster was still sitting on the property, untouched and unmaintained. But photos released by Bruno Baumeister in 2015 showed it with an entirely new paint scheme. Having achieved the funding, it appeared the park had begun preparations to reopen the ride. New drive tires, a queue, and even refurbished trains were added to the coaster, setting it up for success. Then, the unexpected. By 2017, a group visiting the park noted an empty lot where the coaster had been operational. Spiral Coaster was gone, and so were any traces of it. Following this, a few months later, Leisure Park shut its doors for good too, and the park has been standing but not operating ever since. So what on earth happened to Spiral Coaster? And where did it go? Is it in storage? Sold? Under construction maybe? And honestly, I don't even know. My research led me nowhere other than a theory that it was sold back to Intamin. But honestly, I find this highly unlikely, especially considering the park didn't buy it from them in the first place. More likely is that the parts were sold off and the rest was scrapped. But at this point, only the people who ran the park know, and we'll be left wondering for a while, I'm sure. Anyways, though, that was again just a quick analysis and history of an extremely bizarre coaster I've taken great interest in over the years. Is there another coaster you want to see highlighted, though? I would certainly love to do it, so go ahead and leave it down in the comments. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, it's been a pleasure creating new content for you guys. Please stay tuned for another video coming in a couple days. That should be really exciting, and feel free to catch up with us on Instagram as well for those daily posts. Until then, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your days, and we'll catch up with you all soon. See ya.